sea of orange. Did anyone have trouble finding orange today? Raise your hand. You realize you don't have orange. I was like, ooh, orange.
I don't have anything this one.
You don't have anything that's orange.
But my neighbor does.
Good. And it's a good shirt. So we're gonna start. We're gonna have we have a program for you today. Definitely, what's really key is this is a vigil, but it's also a what is it? An action. And we're gonna hear from Senator Jackson, who came from Albany 4:30 in the morning, because we were passing legislation. Yes. Bravo! We're going to talk about some of the great stuff that we were able to do for gun violence. And then we're going to hear from Moms Demand Action. We're going to hear from young people. And we're going to see some beautiful performances. And we have a table behind us that is all about action. So without further ado, Senator Robert Jackson.
Thank you, everyone. So thank you for coming out. And obviously this is an extremely important issue. As one of my colleagues, Kevin Thomas of Long Island, he was presenting one of the bills that we passed last night. It was not unanimous, obviously. Many Republicans voted against the bills that we put forward, but some of them also voted for it. And their leader said that in summarizing everything that we were dealing with last night. But he said when people were questioning him about whether or not he had knowledge about certain things in the application process in order to get a handgun or an application process in order to get an assault rifle, I guess he didn't answer it as specifically as they wanted him to do, which showed that he did not know the process. And he said, I don't own any guns. I never applied for one, but the law and regulations are there. And so if you go, the state of New York that issues a license or gun permit or the local gun permit, they will tell you what is necessary to get it. So basically he said, this is about saving lives. And that's what he said. And I totally agree with him. And yes, he stood up and debated some of the colleagues on the others we call on the other side of the aisle, which means Republicans. And when they make reference to us on the other side, they're referring to the Democrats in the state Senate, and we have a supermajority of Democrats, 43-20. So all of the pieces of legislation regarding gun violence actually passed, and as I indicated to you, even some of the Republicans supported it. And you may say, well, how many pieces are there? There's a list here on the table. Matthew, can you hold that up? Anyone is always interested in having it. There are 10 pieces of legislation that were voted on by the New York State Senate, and then later on this morning, I don't know what time because the assembly is always much later than us, they also passed it, and now they go to our governor, Governor Hochul, to sign into law. And we hope that she will sign all 10 pieces of legislation into law. And you may say, well, what are they? One is a permit to purchase a semi-automatic rifle, and this bill is sponsored by Senator Thomas and Assemblymember Jackson, that she's not a relative, but same last name, would establish a permit to purchase or take possession of a semi-automatic rifle without affecting currently owned semi-automatic rifles. Permits are only available to people over 21 years of age and require a safety course and background checks. Now, you're clapping for that, but I tell you, I said at a press conference earlier that Sean Abreu is the city council member in West Harlem and Upper West Side. If I was the president of the United States, I would ban all assault rifles in the country. And it would be illegal for you to keep it when the ban went into effect. But also, I would not just want to take it away from you. We would reimburse you what you paid for it. Because as a country, this is a democratic country, right? And we don't want to take something that you have purchased that was legal but now it is illegal. We're going to pay you for it. Or you have a tax, a tax abatement, okay? And that's what it's about. So that's if I was the president. But President Biden said just yesterday or the day before, he would ban all assault weapons. The bottom line is that you and I know that has not happened with the House of Representatives, that means members of Congress, or our U.S. Senate. So our U.S. Senate and Congress must get their act together. And I said earlier this afternoon that if they're not willing to do it, vote their aides out of office.
The Canadians just did it, right?
If they're not willing to do it, I would tell their constituents in Texas, in Florida, California, any of our states, vote their aides out of office. And of course, I mean their apples, you know that, right? But, so I wanted to say that because that's so important. I mean, look at how many people have been killed in these mass shootings. And not only mass shootings, but other shootings around our country. And I know I moved away from the script, Joanna, but I needed to say that. But we have people here that are part of organizations that are carrying these yellow signs and has on the yellow shirts. Orange what? Yeah, orange shirt says, wear orange. And people say, why are they wearing orange for? To end gun violence. To end gun violence. And we can end gun violence by all working together. And as I said earlier, where Adriana Espaillat and Sean was there, is that we don't need one rally. We need rallies and press conferences and actions and visits every single day. Every single day. And the only ones that should have, if at all, assault weapons is the people that protect us, the police or things like that. But if I was the president of the United States, I would have Department of Peace. Yeah. A Department of Peace. And we need to promote peace wherever we go. So with that, I want to turn it over to one of the speakers and let Joanna handle the BMC.